Ladies and gentlemen, and hockey fans of all ages, welcome back to another edition of Randy Talks Hockey. My name is Randy Dillon. We are 11 days away from the start of the 2019-2020 NHL regular season. So close you can taste it. You can now actually start watching hockey as preseason games on. Now, a fan like me, I always enjoy watching preseason. One, it is hockey to watch. And second, sometimes you can notice those other young players. I remember with Vancouver when players like Brock Besser and Elias Pettersson came along, watch them in the preseason. We're living in Calgary for many years. The excitement about Gaudreau and Monahan. You got Toronto and Marner and Matthews came aboard. Colorado, McKinnon. Washington when Andre Burakovsky and Evgeny Kuznetsov were making their way to the league. Right now on the island, Noah Dobson. In Ottawa, you got Brady, another year of watching what Brady Tkachuk can do and other young great players. So preseason is a fun, exciting time to watch. With the regular season getting along, I believe this is a perfect time to start giving predictions on the Western and Eastern conferences on where teams are going to make the playoffs or not. Now, one, I am awful at playoff or any predictions for that matter, so these are wrong. I do apologize. But I think this is the best time to start those predictions as rosters are pretty close. We know what rosters are going to look like for those competing teams. Before we get there, though, the summer of the RFAs, they are closing off. Quite a few names have gone off the list. Ivan Provorov from the Flyers, Travis Konecny, Brandon Carlo, Charlie McAvoy, Brock Besser. They all signed bridge deals to 2 to 3 years. And then you got Mitch Marner, who has signed that big long-term deal, 6 years at $65.38 million, $10.9 million the cap hit. It's a lot of money. Marner will be a UFA ready to leave. You look at the bridge deals we talk about, guys like Carlo and McAvoy from the Bruins and Brock Besser from the Vancouver Canucks. When these contracts are expired, they're wanting more. I hope these teams do have the salary cap to meet them. The question now going to be, when will a guy like Mikko Rantanen, Matthew Tkachuk, Patrick Laine, and Kyle Connor resign? Brandon, I hear the conversations are not going well, but the Avs do have the money. I guess they don't want to put all that money into Rantanen. Hopefully they can get something done here because he's a big key part for this team, for the Avalanche to succeed. For the Calgary Flames, I know they're worried about when Matthew Tkachuk's going to sign. They need to relieve some cap space, but wouldn't be too worried. Back in 2016, before the regular season signed, Johnny Gaudreau signed a deal, a 6-year deal, couple of days before the start of the regular season. I think a similar thing will happen to Chuck. It might be a bridge deal. Maybe they can move a contract out, get him signed long term. Who knows? And for Winnipeg, it is a mess down there. Dustin Byfuglien taking time off, pondering future. Patrick Laine in his comments saying he wants to play with top players. And Paul Maurice responding back saying you don't give a 14-year-old keys to the car. It is ugly there. I think the Winnipeg Jets are not, in all likelihood at this point, are in for a terrible season, possibly with things how are going. But we'll get into that later. Right now, we are getting in predictions on if these teams will make the playoffs or not. We're going to start off today with the Western Conference. Now, these predictions are not in any order of first, second, third in the division. In the wild card, they can change. I'm just giving my thoughts on which teams will make the playoffs or not. Now, we are going to start off in the Pacific Division. I know for sure the Calgary Flames and the Vegas Golden Knights, they will take 2 out of the 3 spots in the division. They're very good teams both ways. The Vegas Golden Knights, it might be more of a mental aspect on overcoming that call from Game 7 against the Sharks in the playoffs, but still a good team. They have a lot of good pieces in Pacioretty, Stone, Stastny, William Karlsson, Riley, Smith, Jonathan Marchessault, Alex Tuch on defense, Nate Schmidt, Shea Theodore, goaltending, Marc-Andre Fleury. They have good prospect in Cody Glass. Not too worried about the Vegas Golden Knights other than that mental aspect. For the Calgary Flames, they're waiting for Tkachuk, but I think he'll sign before the season starts. He might miss a few games, hopefully not more. He is a good player, and that will really hurt the Flames. But they still got Gaudreau, Monahan, that top line with Lindholm. Still a good defense core with Mark Giordano, the reigning Norris winner, alongside Ruth Smith Anderson, Noah Hannafin, Travis Hamonic. The big question for the Flames will be goaltending. Can David Rittich get the job done along with Tam Talbot? I know there was Talbot's head was being clawed from the Calgary fans after a preseason game against Vancouver. But let's go back to last preseason, Calgary fans. David Rittich was awful. He got the job at the backup, and look how that turned up. Wouldn't worry too much about Mike Smith. Now, the third team to make the Pacific. This is hard. I think it's a race between the Vancouver Canucks, the San Jose Sharks, and the Arizona Coyotes. All these teams are kind of similar, even playing field. The Canucks and the Coyotes got better, where the Sharks, they got worse. If I got to pick a team, my gut's telling me I'm going to go with the Vancouver Canucks. Even though I'm not going with them because I just like them, I'm going with them because I think they made a lot of good moves to do better this year. Arizona and San Jose, I think their goaltending going to give out other than the Canucks. I think Markstrom will get the job done. San Jose, Martin Jones have fallen off the deep end here. He has to be good this year, especially with the loss of Pavelski. They cannot score the way out of problem. Arizona, Darcy Kemper did do a good job, but Antti Ranta, I'm getting confused, Antti Ranta needed the job done in Arizona. He hasn't done it so far. For the Pacific, you got the Flames, the Golden Knights, and the Canucks making it. Now, can a team make a wild card spot? But I'm telling you, the team that won't make it from the Pacific Division, the Anaheim Ducks and LA Kings, they will not make it. They're a rebuilding team. They're going to be struggling, going through those motions. The Edmonton Oilers, yeah, they did get some scoring depth, adding James Neal, adding guys like Mikael Granlund, Riley Shen, Thomas Yurko. They did, hopefully Mike Smith and Mikko Koskinen can get the job done, but it's just not enough to help out Connor McDavid. So I think they're out there. And then for the Sharks and the Coyotes, I think they're going to be competing with the Canucks for that third spot because I don't think they're going to make a wild card because that Central Division is a nasty, dominant division. It's going to be hard, but the three teams are going to be the Flames, the Canucks, and the Golden Knights to make it from the Pacific Division. Now, we move along to the Central Division. This is a very tough division here, ladies and gentlemen, with a lot of good teams. But the teams who I think are going to make it, the Dallas Stars, they got better from last year. Remember, one goal away from the Western Conference Final, losing to the St. Louis Blues. They got better, adding Pavelski, Perry, depth on Sekera, a very good team all around. I don't see any flaws. Maybe the health of Ben Bishop and injuries last year that did hurt them early in the season, but they overcame that. The second team from the Central Division to make it will be the Nashville Predators. Yes, they did leave PK, but they still have good defense with Ekholm, Yoshi, and Ryan Ellis. Matt Duchene will give them an offensive burst if they finally have a legitimate number one center. Maybe they'll put Turris on the wing and help the scoring depth on the wings there, who know to help his production to get him traded. Pekka Rinne's still going to have a good season along with UC Saros. Wouldn't be worried there. Now, the third team to make it from the Central Division, I'm going to go with the Stanley Cup champion, the St. Louis Blues. Big question will be Jordan Binnington. Can he handle that heavy workload? They got Jake Allen there to help out a bit. He needs to be good, especially in that matter. But the Blues, the whole gang together, other than Patrick Maroon, from their Stanley Cup win. So I wouldn't be too worried. The Blues will make it. So your three teams from the Central are going to be, no particular order, the Dallas Stars, the Nashville Predators, and the St. Louis Blues. Now we look at the wild card team. Now I said already, Anaheim and LA are out. I think Minnesota's out from making a wild card position as well. It is just a nightmare in the state that loves hockey, with everything happening from Paul Fenton being fired and Bill Guerin. It's more of an evaluation periods there. Now the two wild card teams I believe are going to be the Colorado Avalanche. Yes, they don't have Mikko Rantanen signed yet, but I think he'll sign eventually. He might miss maybe a month, possibly. I think he'll possibly return maybe November, hopefully earlier. That's just my prediction on what's happening and how the conversation's gone sideways. But they got better. They had depth. Burakovsky, Kadri, Vladimir Nikrushin, Jonas Donskoy, a much deeper team. They might not rely so much on McKinnon and Landeskog. Big question is going to be Philip Grubauer. Can he handle that workload and the defense? Losing Tyson Barrie, going to the Toronto Maple Leafs. But they have a good young defense. Samuel Girard, Cale Makar, you had Bowen Byron, and you still got your veterans in Ian Cole and Eric Johnson. Now the final team to make it the playoff in the wild card, and this will conclude the prediction for the West. I believe it will be the Chicago Blackhawks. As someone likes the Canucks, it does hurt me, but the Hawks, you look at last year, they were on a tearing pace. Goaltending was the problem. They addressed that, adding Robin Leonard. The defense is better. They got guys like Ole Mata and Calvin DeHaan to help out, and aging Keith and Seabrook. Dylan Strome, a full year, I think is going to be good. Alec DeBrincat is going to keep continuing to play, and I think Kane and Taves, after last year's show, they still have something left in the tank. They added Andrew Shaw to give them toughness to this team. So, as we go, the final recap, the teams that are going to make it from the Pacific, and remember, no particular order, it's going to be the Vegas Golden Knights, the Calgary Flames, and the Vancouver Canucks. In the Central Division, you got the Dallas Stars, the Nashville Predators, and the St. Louis Blues. And in the wild card, you got the Colorado Avalanche and the Chicago Blackhawks making it. I was thinking Winnipeg, but right now it's a mess in Winnipeg. I don't think Line ain't going to get signed anytime soon. Maybe they'll address Kyle Connor. Dustin Byfuglien's situation is really going off-wind here, and it's just going in a weird direction here. So I don't think the Jets can make it, but if all these things turn around, who knows, they might make it. Anyways, that's what I got all today, ladies and gentlemen. As always, remember, watch some hockey. We'll be back next week to go through the Eastern Conference and any other big news that has happened. My name is Randy Dillon, and as always remember, watch some hockey. And I know you can. Preseason hockey is on. Have a good one, everyone.